and everything that's happened over the past week and with the A-level results and so on and so forth. And I get it, although news has just come out that they're the highest ever recorded results of ever. So, I hope that there's nothing to worry about. But yesterday I did speak to Neil Selvey, who's from Connexions in Wolverhampton, and he told us all about what to do if you're worried. If you get results and you're not happy with them, if you're happy with the results but now you don't know what to do with training courses or college or anything like that. So he gave us a lot of fabulous information. First of all, he said just don't panic. And I think a lot of people get the results and go, oh no, what am I going to do? So just don't panic. There's plenty of help out there. So I asked him, what happens in these unprecedented times, Neil, when people pick up their results and they're not happy?
Well, firstly, I think you're right. There's not been anything like this in the history of secondary education, in the UK. And I think it can be a very worrying and confusing time for young people.
Yes.
As I said the other day, the first thing to do, is not to panic. There's plenty of options out there, and there's also plenty of support to help young people and families, if they are worried.
So
I would suggest, obviously, with your grades, if you do feel that they don't reflect how you should have achieved, it's very important to speak to the school. There are appeal procedures in place, and there will be opportunities to sit your examination.
Yes. I mean, I think you went into some schools last week, didn't you, after everybody had their A-level results? What's the general feeling? Are people panicking? Are they worried? Are they getting anxiety about it? Or are people like, oh, what it is, what it is?
I went into Ormiston New Academy, which is one of the schools that I work in. There were quite a few students who were happy with their grades. There were some that were disappointed. Obviously, since then, the government has spoken about that, and there's a rethink about those grades, and that's going to be taken forward into the GCSE results tomorrow. So I'm hoping that there isn't as many shocks as there was on A-level day. I think one of the other messages to kind of get across is, it's worth remembering that there are people that don't do well in their GCSEs that go on to have very successful careers and a very successful life.
Absolutely.
And your GCSEs are basically your starting point in what's a lifelong journey in learning.
That's right.
And from my own personal point of view, I'm going to admit that I didn't pass my maths GCSE when I was in school many years ago.
Yes.
But I went on to college and achieved that. So just because you don't achieve something at the first attempt, it doesn't mean that you can't try again.
No, and the thing is, with the pandemic that we've been having over the past few months, that's already affecting a lot of young people's mental health and anxiety and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. That, on top of worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow, is doubling that. I mean, I think you also offer support with regards to counselling or mental health and so on as well. We're a wraparound service, so we talk to young people about a variety of different issues, and some of those can be anxieties and barriers to them achieving. We're contactable by phone. We have a Facebook page. You can contact us by email, and we can make referrals to specific services if you really, really are struggling, with your results and your predicament. Yeah, and you can also help with apprenticeships if people aren't, going forward especially with a lot of businesses that are closing now after the pandemic, or people being made redundant or still on furlough and so on. There are still businesses that are offering apprenticeships as well, which might help.
Yeah, apprenticeships are certainly being advertised at the moment. They're suitable for people that feel they're ready for work, that have reached a conclusion maybe with education and want to go into work. But the good thing about apprenticeships is it's a combination of work and training.
Yes.
So it's a fantastic opportunity to experience what work's like while learning a trade-specific qualification. And it can be in a variety of different fields, everything from engineering and IT to business and hair and beauty. Yeah. So no matter what kind of skills you feel you have, there are apprenticeships out there that you could look at, certainly.
if you don't, with the apprenticeships, I mean, some apprenticeship providers will be asking for certain specific grades, which might make some young people feel, well, maybe I can't go into that. But there's a level below apprenticeships, which is called a traineeship, which is like an introduction to an apprenticeship if you haven't necessarily got the grades to go into a full apprenticeship. And in Wolverhampton, we have something called training providers. And training providers offer vocational work experience, an opportunity to resit your maths and English if you weren't happy with the grades, and to learn a lot of kind of employability skills which will help you with moving into a job or an apprenticeship if you don't necessarily feel that confident. So if that is of interest, obviously you can talk to us. Young people can talk to us about that as an option, training providers.
That's all right. And you do have a drop-in day, don't you? Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays and Fridays where people can just drop into you?
Yeah, well, because of the COVID restrictions, our service is virtual at the moment, so it's not face-to-face, but we are offering, the same advice to young people via telephone, email and social media. We can be contacted on Facebook Messenger service and have a conversation that way if people prefer to talk online as opposed to over the telephone.
Okay, got you. With regards to the apprenticeships and so on that you've just mentioned, given what has happened, are some of these businesses that are providing apprenticeships, if you do have to have certain qualifications to go in, are they taking into account that some people might have lower grades?
Well, yeah, the grades that they ask for is a guideline, really. So there is an opportunity for some negotiation. Okay. If you've got somebody who's maybe interested in motor vehicle, for instance, and they haven't got the grades, but maybe they can, maybe they've helped their family out with, fixing cars up, or have got a really interest in cars, then we would obviously recommend that young person to apply, because it can be the enthusiasm as much as the academic grades that can secure an apprenticeship.
Well, that's really good to know, because like you say, a lot of people will just think, okay, I need X, Y and Z qualifications. I haven't got those, so that's it. I can't think about going over to that business anymore. But they could.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the other thing, obviously, which is a major option for a lot of school leavers who aren't going to stay on a sixth form, would be a college course.
Yes.
Because college courses go all the way down to pre-GCSE level. So if you didn't do well in your GCSEs, but think, I want another crack at this, going to college, you would study a vocational option, but you would also have an opportunity to retake your maths and English along with that. And as I say, with my own personal story, maths was something hard for me at school, so I had to retake it at college. And the colleges are offering, a very wide variety of subjects: science, business, engineering, health, IT, sport, as well as more hands-on subjects like catering, hairdressing, beauty, construction. There's actually a much broader base of subjects offered than your typical school.
Got you. And that's great to know, because like you said at the top, you could resit or sit in the first place your exam again, but because of the effects mentally it might have on some of these people, what they've gone through with the pandemic, like we said, and getting the grades that they wasn't expecting, they have got that option that they can go to college and do maths and English and so on. Yeah,
and I think that's a really important thing to take on board if you're feeling you are a bit depressed about your results. Is that was your first attempt at something, and a lot of successful people will fail at the first attempt at things, but it's about kind of bouncing back, and having another go at things. And also looking, what you feel your skills are. So not everybody is necessarily academic. It might be that your skills are more creative. Yeah. It might be that your skills are more kind of hands-on. You're a more practical person. So, if you need guidance around that, speaking to Connections, we can talk about matching your skills to certain vocational careers to help you make those decisions.
That's right.
And it's about knowing yourself as a person. We're not all skilled in the same areas.
Yeah.
It might be that, you're not good at maths, but you're fantastic at drawing, or, you might not be very good at English, but you're great with your hands and, you can build a wall.
That's right. I've got you. Well, I think the most important thing to remember, first of all, is don't panic. There is help out there and support out there. And I will share your link again on our socials so people can get in touch with you. And I thank you once again, Neil. I know it's a very busy time for you, so I appreciate your time. Thank you for taking the time to come on and talk to us and get some information out there.
You're very welcome, Susan.
No problem. Thanks, Neil.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Where's all my soul sisters? Let me hear your flow, sisters.
Hey, sister, go, sister, soul, sister, flow.